Welcome to Kermode Uncut. It's July, and two things always happen in July. First is I take a few weeks off, and I go and live in a forest, like Viggo Mortensen in Captain Fantastic, but with fewer personal problems, obviously. Second thing is, because January through June is now gone, it's the first half of the year gone, I like to look back on the first half of the year and do my top 10 best and worst movies of the year so far. So, before I go off into Hobbity land, here's number 10 to number 6 of my best films of the year so far. So at number 10, Wonder Woman. This is there for three different reasons. The first is I was off the week this came out and I went to see it at my local multiplex, and I was really delighted by how much I enjoyed the film and how much everybody else around me was enjoying it. It was a real crowd-pleasing film. Secondly, because it totally puts paid to the idea that superhero franchise movies have to be top-lined by boys. No, not true. I mean, Wonder Woman has done really well, and it's staying in there because it's got great word of mouth. And number 3, from director Patty Jenkins right down through Lindy Hemming's costumes, this is a movie which is made by people that really care about the subject. I mean, you can feel how much they like making the film. I know how much I liked watching it.
Get on with it.
I'm doing it. I can't go any faster.
At number 9, Prevenge, the directorial feature debut from Alice Lowe, who wrote, directed, starred in, and basically came up with the whole movie whilst heavily pregnant. It is a story about a pregnant woman who starts to hear the voice of her unborn child telling her to go on a killing spree. The film was shot in 2 weeks. It was written pretty much on the hoof, and Alice Lowe edited it whilst nursing a newborn baby. I mean, that is multitasking, and it's really smart. It's sharp, it's funny, it's satirical, it's got a fabulous score, and I think it's a really great calling card for Alice Lowe, who I think will become one of the great British filmmakers of our time, frankly.
We hired Georgina and Walter to help care for my parents. When they died, I couldn't bear to let them go.
At number 8, another satirical chiller, Get Out, written and directed by Jordan Peele. The film owes a great debt to the works of Ira Levin, who wrote books like The Stepford Wives. And it's one of those stories in which you become involved in the characters, you're led into a situation, you know there's going to be a twist, but when it reveals itself, it actually still causes an intake of breath. It starts out like a version of Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, and then it drifts into something altogether more sinister. I really enjoyed this film because it likes scaring the audience, but it also likes to make them think. It's not so much a horror movie as a thriller that tickles your brain, tickles your imagination, and makes you think, wow, I didn't expect that.
You've been my driver for every job since we met. You're the best in the business.
At number 7, and it's an indication of just how great the movies have been this year, Edgar Wright's Baby Driver, which I've seen 3 or 4 times and absolutely loved every time. It's a film which throws back to a pop video he made, I think back in 2003, Mint Royale's Blue Song. It expands on that idea. It is essentially a romantic musical posing as a car chase movie. It refers to films like The Driver and The French Connection, but it's got this fantastic musical underpinning, brilliant use of things like, for example, John Spencer's blues explosions of bell bottoms. Now, I really struggled as to whether or not to include La La Land in my top 10 list. In the end, La La Land didn't make it in, although I love La La Land. But the way I've justified leaving out La La Land is that I have in Baby Driver. They're both musicals, and for me, Baby Driver had the edge.
I'd like to introduce your new friend, Ikar.
My name is Courgette.
More like a potato with that head.
Wow!
And at number 6 in my top 10 films of the year so far, My Life is a Courgette, an absolutely brilliant stop-motion animation. Now, this has been a really great time for animation. There are so many great animated features, but this really caught my eye. The screenplay is co-written by Celine Sciamma. It's adapted from a book which is much loved, and it's directed by Claude Barras. But what it does is take the subject of child abuse, of child neglect, of really difficult, dysfunctional families, and turn them into something which I think can be watched by audiences of all age. It is a film which is designed to be talked about afterwards. The animation is heartbreakingly beautiful. I've seen it in 2 different versions, in the original French language version and also in the dubbed English version, and both are really terrific. And I think it's one of the most remarkable things I've seen in cinemas recently. Here's another thing about it. It's only about an hour long. I watched it twice, both versions, and most feature-length films would still be going on by that time.
Woo!
So there we are, number 10 to number 6 of my favourite films of the year so far. I think you'll agree it's been a really great year. I'm already worrying about all the films I'm not going to get into my top 10 list. However, for the next blog, number 10 to number 6 of my worst films of the year so far.